everyone. Happy Monday. All day I've been thinking it does not feel like a Monday to me. I'm not sure what day it feels like, but it definitely doesn't feel like a Monday. But it is. So hey Karma, thanks for being here. Sober Pug, good to see that you are still safe. I hope you are not anywhere near the fire. However, I see that instead of the 7th largest in California history, it is now the 6th largest in California history. Hey, Evil Queen, thanks for stopping in. Sinner, thanks for being here. It is warm here in New York. It is warm. It's about 90. And I did get outside for probably an hour or so until I was like, okay, it's too hot. I have to go. Have to go in the air conditioning. But it's supposed to be hot here all week, so I don't think I'll be getting out as much as I had hoped. Oh, they lifted some evacuations. That's good. That's good. I did see, as of this morning, it is 12% contained, which I believe is what you had said yesterday. So today we are going to talk about the wildfires in California. So there's the Park Fire, which is the fire that was intentionally set by a 40, I think he's 42. I think he was 42. Give me 1 second. I'm pretty sure, but I want to double check. Yes, 42. A 42-year-old man who is currently in Butte County Jail being held without bail. So we'll see what happens with him. But I have the Park Fire and also the Burrell Fire. There are other fires burning, but those are the two I think that are the biggest currently. I also, as I was preparing for this live, I did also find out that there were wildfires in Canada that destroyed a town, and also in Colorado, which I had not realized there had been a wildfire there as well that was threatening the Laramie area. So, fun fact, after college, I almost moved to Laramie. Actually, Laramie's in Wyoming, so it wasn't Laramie. Where the heck was it in Colorado? I don't know. I completely blanked on that. I don't know why I have Laramie in my head, but I do. Oh, arraignment. Let me get back over here. Arraignment at 3 p.m. today, Pacific time. So that's 6 p.m. my time. That'll be interesting to see what they decide, because I mean, he needs to be, face consequences for what he did. So the first thing I'm going to start with is, hey, Misfit, Utah air is so smoky from all the fires. I pray for everyone. Agreed. So I'm going to start with, this is the Cal Fire Twitter page. And so I figured what better way, and I believe this is their last, yes, okay. So this was 4 hours ago from Cal Fire. The Park Fire has become the 6th largest wildfire in California's history, affecting Butte, Tehama, Shasta, and Plumas counties. This realism underscores the urgent need for wildfire preparedness. Ensure your family's safety by signing up for emergency alerts and visiting readyforwildfire.org for essential tips. Efforts by Cal Fire and our partners, in addition to favorable weather conditions, have allowed progress in containment. However, hotter weather is on the horizon. The summer is far from over, so staying prepared is crucial. Have your go bag packed and know 2 evacuation routes. Stay informed by signing up for emergency alerts. Stay prepared and help protect our communities. And again, they have that readyforwildfire.org. And so they had this image of the largest wildfires. And so yesterday, it was number 7, the Park Fire. It is now number 6. And as of 4 hours ago, it had burned just over 368,000 acres, which is a lot. And so these are the others. I was curious about the August complex fire, which now I don't remember the year, but actually, let me look it up real quick. It was 2020. And the August complex, the biggest in California history, originated as 38 separate fires started by lightning strikes on August 16th through the 17th, 2020. So that was interesting to me. And let's see. Okay, so here they have, take a look at our fire activity update for July 29th, 2024. Again, the Park Fire is 12% contained. So, I mean, there are many fires burning, which is scary in itself because, you know, I've only heard of the Burrell and the Park Fire. So it says 2024 SQF Lightning Complex, 85,583 acres, 33% contained. I mean, the amount of land. Hill Fire, 7,224 acres, 61% contained. And then again, fire.ca.gov. And actually, I'm going to go there. Okay, so this is current. So there are a total of 4,574 wildfires. Total emergency responses, nearly 348,000. A total of 726,667 acres burned. 1 civilian fatality, which is very sad. And 291 structures, 59 damaged, 232 destroyed. Oh, I thought this might be interactive. Oh, it is interactive. Okay, so again, the Park Fire, just over 370,000 acres. And then, wow, Shelley Fire. This is incredible to me. The amount, I shouldn't say incredible because it's not a good thing, but the number of wildfires that are burning, yet I'm only hearing I've only seen about the Burrell and the Park, which I assume it's because they're the biggest, but these are still, it's still significant. What does the gray mean? Oh, 100% contained. Okay. That's interesting. Gosh. Park Fire, 12% contained. Lightning Complex. You have Lake Fire, Shelley Fire, Hill Fire. I mean, just so many wildfires happening. Okay. And actually, I'll drop this in the chat as well, in case anyone is interested. My son-in-law is down in South California. He's National Guard and helping down there. Misfit, I hope they're staying safe. Family in the Humboldt and Reading areas. Yeah, it's just some of the videos. I can't even imagine. And I had mentioned yesterday, I'm pretty sure I have the video. This older man, he had seconds to get out of his home, and so he got 3 of his cats, and he didn't even have time to get his medication. And I think, what is he going to do? Like, where does he go from here? So this article from NBC News was updated about 2 hours ago. So we're going to start with this, and then we'll get into some videos. So California wildfires rage on. Firefighters struggle to contain massive park fire. The park fire alone has burned over 360,000 acres with only 12% containment as of Monday morning. California's wildfires are continuing to burn as firefighters work to contain them. The park fire in Butte and Tehama counties is currently the largest of California's active fires in the state's, we now know, 6th largest wildfire on record. It has burned over 360,000 acres with only 12% containment. The park fire started at a park in Chico on Wednesday and rapidly moved into wildlands to the north, blossoming to over 348,000 acres with no containment by Saturday afternoon. It has surpassed the size of the 2020 North Complex fire and is closing in on the 2020 LNU Lightning Complex fire, which is the current 6th largest fire in California's history, which we know now it has surpassed that. Authorities allege the park fire was started when a man pushed a car that was on fire into a gully on Wednesday. A suspect, Ronnie Dean Stout II, 42, of Chico, was arrested on Thursday. He was booked on suspicion of felony arson and held without bail. On Sunday, Governor Gavin Newsom said all hands are on deck in the effort to contain the park fire. You're hearing aerial assets above, putting all hands on deck. 350,000 acres and growing by the second. Over 2,500 personnel working in the fire, working to hold the line, doing what they can. Active wildfires across California have consumed more than 500,000 acres as of last weekend. The Gold Complex fire, which started a week ago, has consumed 3,007 acres and was 98% contained by Monday morning. And there you can see the smoke blanketing many parts of Canada and at least a handful of U.S. states. Elsewhere in California, the Burrell Fire, which ignited Wednesday in the Sequoia National Forest, has already burned 53,000 acres and is 0% contained. Their nearby Trout Fire, which ignited on July 13th, has burned more than 23,000 acres and is 33% contained. Elevated fire risk continues for the West on Monday as a result of raging fires, with red flag warnings peppered across parts of California, Utah, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, and Colorado. Haze and smoke from the wildfires will push east into the plains and Midwest Monday and Tuesday. Air quality alerts are up for parts of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Colorado. All right, so let's go here. Yeah, I agree. He's more than an idiot. He is irresponsible, and I mean, if you're having a bad day, that's fine, but to push a car on fire into a gully, I mean, come on now. And I mean, hopefully he has remorse. I don't know who this dude is, but hopefully he feels bad.
Tonight, firefighters are beginning to get some control of the massive park fire burning in 4 counties. And tomorrow, the man accused of starting what is now the largest.
Yep, there it is. That's the starting point right there.
Largest active wildfire in.
Let me just fix. I don't know what's going on with this closed captioning. Let me I don't know why it goes so little.
The country appears in a California courtroom. Good evening. Thanks for joining us for the CBS 13 News at 10. I'm Steve Large. The Park Fire is California's largest wildfire of the year. Here are the newest numbers from CAL FIRE. Just in the last several hours, more than 360,000 acres are burned. That's more than 5 times the size of the city of Sacramento. It is now 12% contained. 100 structures have been destroyed. 5 have been damaged. Evacuation orders and warnings are in place in several counties. Here's a look at CAL FIRE's updated evacuation map right now. Zones in red are orders, zones in yellow are warnings. Evacuation centers are set up in the neighborhood Church in Chico and the Red Cross Los Molinos Hall in Tehama County. You can check CAL FIRE's website for evacuation centers for both small and large animals as well. Now, the man arrested for allegedly starting this fire, Ronnie Stout, will be.
Okay, and speaking of Ronnie Stout, so Sober Pug got me thinking about this guy. So hopefully this doesn't make me subscribe. But this is from the Washington Post. And it said, oh, and it was from, when was this from? 2 days ago. What we know about Ronnie Stout, suspect in California's park fire. Butte County authorities say a witness saw Stout push a burning car down a ravine prior to the ignition of what is now California's biggest fire of the year. Oh my God, I hate seeing that. Why did they have to put that picture? Come on, Washington Post. Jesus. As flames erupted behind him, Ronnie Dean Stout walked away calmly, blending in with other people who had been at Bidwell Park on Wednesday afternoon, enjoying the lush swimming hole, and who then were suddenly, quote, fleeing a rapidly evolving fire, end quote. Less than 12 hours later, around 1:30 a.m., investigators pulled into the Chico Mobile Home Park and arrested the 42-year-old for allegedly starting the raging park fire, which has now become California's largest wildfire this year, exploding to more than 307,000 acres by early Saturday. And as we know, that's very much increased. Seriously, Misfit, like, what the heck? I know. Like, come on, Washington Post. Like, I was not expecting that, and I am so sorry for those of you who weren't expecting it either. I thought it was just a picture of flames. It has forced thousands of residents to evacuate and has destroyed numerous homes. Navigating brutal temperatures, strong winds, and rugged terrain, crews have yet to contain any part of the blaze. And again, they have 12% containment. So at the time this was published, they had not. Around 1:40 a.m. Thursday, Crystal Parker had just gotten back to her trailer when she noticed flashing police lights outside the spot 6 doors down from her. Unable to sleep because of how close the park fire was to her home, she'd wanted to check to see if it had switched directions. She had no idea they were arresting the man suspected of starting the fire. Parker didn't know Stout that well, but would see him often and wave when he said hello to her on his walks. He'd lived there for quite some time, since getting out of jail, and said he seemed like a decent guy, but lonely. She said she'd heard Stout was excited about recently buying a car for $7,500, the same one he is accused of mysteriously setting on fire. A TikToker named Elizabeth Fox was one of the first to report seeing Stout dressed in a red shirt and shorts, acting strangely shortly after she arrived at the swimming hole. In one video, she recalled hearing a car door shut, looked over, saw a man standing in front of his car, and all of a sudden it starts bursting into flames. Stunned, she called 911 as Stout was getting back into the burning car. He then exited the vehicle, pushed it down the gully, and, quote, walked away like nothing happened. Oh, third strike. The 28-year-old immediately started running to warn families at the swimming hole, she said in her video statement, warning them that there was a fire. She was sounding the alarm. Scratch that. As she was sounding the alarm, she saw Stout again walking casually back toward the main park. He was calm. He was holding his phone, and that was all he had. He didn't seem urgent to get out of there at all. The fire spread so fast that she barely got out, who also lived through the campfire and still has PTSD from watching it devastate the nearby town of Paradise in 2018. She gave the police the photo she took of the car and the man, calling the experience horrific, especially because the man, quote, didn't even have the heart to tell people there was a fire, end quote. 3 other young women told CBS that they had been enjoying the swimming hole when a man in his 40s walked up and started making strange remarks, slurring his words. He left them alone once a bystander came up, the group of friends said. Shortly after that is when they saw flames. And there is Mr. Stout. Freaking idiot. The Butte County District Attorney and other authorities said that around 3 p.m., Stout lit a 2007 Toyota Yaris on fire. He then put it into neutral and pushed it 60 feet into the lush wildland area. The fire erupted and quickly outmatched the firefighters who were called to respond. Stout has 2 felony convictions. He was convicted of child SA in Butte County in 2001 and robbery with great bodily injury in Kern County in 2002. Stout was in prison for 19 years after the second conviction, records from Kern County show. So that means he got out, depending on when he was convicted. Oh, he was convicted in 2002. So he got out of prison 3 years ago, give or take, depending on when he got out. What a loser. Like, seriously. Like, I don't even understand why people do this stuff. When officials arrested him this week, Stout was still on probation for a DUI, the district attorney's office said. While officials said he has not yet been charged, they plan to book him on suspicion of intentional arson once they finish reviewing the evidence. He is now in the Butte County Jail, and the arraignment is set for Monday, according to the district attorney. Back at the Chico Mobile Home Park, residents are processing the prospect that someone who lived there may have started a fire that could have destroyed them. Amanda Brown, who has lived in the park for about 7 years, said she recognized Stout and couldn't believe that someone, especially one of her neighbors, would, quote, deliberately do this knowing how many lives are at stake, end quote. She said this was especially true after what her community went through after losing Paradise. Well, clearly he doesn't care. Unbelievable. And to do it is one thing, but to do it where there are families and, people enjoying a summer day is ridiculous. And to walk away like, allegedly he walked away like nonchalant, like, I just pushed a car into a gully on fire. Yeah, jackass. Definitely. Brown is still terrified of fire because of what she saw. Her brother lost everything, including his long-term boyfriend. Okay, so this is she was talking about Paradise. Yeah, that was awful. He did not have fire insurance for his double wide and has never recovered. She had many friends lose their businesses and others who became homeless. The trauma of the Paradise fire, we haven't gotten over it. Losing a whole town, all of those people who died. Anxiously watching the park fire grow, she can't help but think of what could happen to her and her 80-year-old aunt, who just moved in with her if a similar fire were to roar into their community. In these mobile home parks, we are packed in like sardines. This thing will go up in 10 minutes. Everything we own is in this single wide mobile home. I'm curious too when he was released. So I mean, I guess he was going for like he's going for like a different felony every so many years. I mean, what the hell, dude? Where's this comment I'm looking for? Oh, here. It's a beautiful park and creek where it started. Everyone was swimming up there. Yeah, and it's like he wanted, I mean, did he think that he would, I mean, he knew what he was doing, obviously. And if it turns out that he was drunk, like these other people I've been discussing, I mean, he needs the book thrown at him. Like, clearly he is a bad person. A very bad person who should have never gotten out of prison, in my opinion. Yeah, glad they caught him. Several of the fires near Santa Barbara, where I used to live, were arson, and they were never caught. And it seems like, you know, this TikToker had video of him, pictures. I'm sure others did as well. Like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then, you know, seeing him act weird. I mean, I would start recording. No, he pushed it into the gully on fire. I don't think he was trying to stop it. And again, I don't know, I'm not him, but I think he did it. He wanted to inflict harm. I mean, he was out for 3 years. I mean, he had a DUI. Who knows what he did and didn't get caught with. Oh, for sure, intentionally, yeah. Mm-hmm.
In court tomorrow, he pushed a car, according to CAL FIRE, that was burning down an embankment near Chico Wednesday. This is a picture of that alleged vehicle. Witnesses described Stout walking away from that car as he sent it burning out of control, and he is being held tonight.
Give me 1 sec. I don't know what's going on with these closed captioning. Like now, I just realized the color is background color black, window. Oh, here, font color. It says white, but it's not really working here. All right, I guess it's just the closed captioning on this video.
Without bail. Meteorologist Ashley Namfrey is here with a quick look of what firefighters are dealing with right now as they get ready for another overnight firefight. Ashley.
Yeah, so out there right now, humidity levels have improved somewhat, but we are still dealing with some wind out there this evening. So along the fire lines, that's going to be the biggest challenge as they head into the overnight hours. As we look at the fire perimeter, this is the heat signature, and you can see the brighter red colors. That is indicating.
And I did read that the fire is nearly the size of Los Angeles, which for me, I mean, I know LA is big, but there was another comparison that they said the fire was nearly half the state of Rhode Island, which for me is a little more tangible. Like I can visualize that more. And that is, I mean, it's huge, and all because of this guy.
The hottest temperatures that we're feeling right now from the fire. So the strongest portions of the fire right now along the eastern portions and along some western sides as well. But really, we've seen this fire generally creep a little bit further towards the east throughout today. Wind has shifted. Earlier today, it was coming in from the south, moving the fire towards the northeast. And now it's coming in from the east, moving the fire a bit more towards the west. Definitely something fire crews are going to keep a close eye on through the rest of tonight. Now, wind speeds today have generally been a little bit stronger than where they were yesterday. Upwards about 15 to 25 miles per hour, with a few gusts a bit stronger than that. Out there right now, we're still holding on to that Delta breeze out there this evening, and that's allowing that cool.
And so Chico is here. And I'm curious where exactly it had started, as opposed to how it's spread. I know she had shown that other map, but it didn't really have like a centralized
cooler air and increase in moisture in the air to continue to move into the region. We'll continue to hold on to that. But as we look at humidity levels, we have seen a nice increase out there this evening in the 50 to 60 percentile as you get further into the valley. And of course, a bit stronger along the coastline this evening. Overall temperatures over the next couple of hours will continue to cool off. But heading
to burn, nonprofits are stepping in to help people displaced figure out their next steps. Your reporter Shelby Riley has more from the Tiny Pine Foundation in Oroville.
We kick into gear like right away.
Alyssa Hoffman is the founder of Tiny Pine Foundation, a nonprofit that helps Butte County and surrounding areas during disasters like the Park Fire.
We have diapers, we have wipes, we have hygiene, snacks, bottled water, first aid kits. We have all new clothes, shoes, and then we have gas cards and grocery gift cards.
Christopher Apel
and so that is great. So this Tiny Pine Foundation, I'm gonna see if they have. Oh, here they are, Tiny Pine Foundation. It is in Oroville, California. And I'll drop their link. Hey, Jerry, how are you?
His brother-in-law, Bruce Hay, are two Park Fire victims in need of help. Their family has lived in the Cohasset area for decades.
But we had two pieces of property next to each other. And we had a lot of people that were staying there from the campfire, different things, just in trailers, whatever, and everything burned out.
Hay had to drive through the fire when evacuating.
I tried to outrun it.
Burning his left arm while trying to get out.
I wouldn't have got burned if I wouldn't have rolled down the window to look in the rearview mirror. I was right in the middle of it. I was trying to get it in reverse.
Here on Row Road, which is off of Cohasset Road, flames still burning, as you can see behind me. And several families we spoke with who live in this area say they aren't sure if their home is still standing. Jessica and Roger Parker also live in the Cohasset area and say it took them roughly 6 hours to evacuate on Wednesday night.
We're one of the crews that were down in the woods trying to figure, basically fighting our way out.
But our crew was pretty large.
Yeah.
After also going through the campfire, the Parkers say they are constantly reminded of what matters most.
And things happen fast, you just got to hold on to your memory. Your memory's the most, honestly, because,
And these poor people, having to go through a fire not long ago, and now they're, having to flee another one.
Pictures and all that, it's material.
Now, as the wildfire grows, the National Park Service has also closed Lassen National Park with recreational activities suspended. The National Park Service says Highway 89 through the park is closed and is only being used as an evacuation route right now. PG&E's Safety and Infrastructure Protection Team is making sure utility poles remain standing in areas near and around the park fire in Butte, Plumas, Shasta, and Tehama counties. They're working to clear out vegetation and pre-treat poles with fire retardant. The director says their efforts are usually successful, with 97% of the poles they treat surviving wildfires.
Wow.
Of course, we'll continue to follow the park fire with more information. You can go to our website, cbs13.com.
All right, so we're going to pause that. We'll go to the next video. So this one is from CBS News, and I hadn't realized that Oregon also had wildfires. It's seemingly everywhere out west and also in Canada. As a former forest firefighter, I can tell you nothing means more than people bringing out cold water, lemonade, and food to the firefighters. It's almost life-changing in those moments. I have a friend from high school whose husband is a firefighter that deals with wildfires. I'm not sure exactly where he's at, but he is a forest firefighter as well.
Wildfires are burning across the western U.S. Crews are battling dozens of fires in Oregon, and that includes 4 so-called mega fires in the eastern part of the state. That's a term used when a wildfire burns more than 100,000 acres.
Holy crap.
And officials say the wildfire sparked by fireworks.
Holy crap. Look at that freaking house. Wow. So there's several in Oregon as well. And yet this is the first time even hearing about Oregon.
Riverside, California is now fully contained.
Oh, this
One
is Riverside,
firefighter suffered a minor injury, but no deaths have been reported. CBS News national correspondent.
Like, just, I mean, that is so, it's terrible. Terrible.
Firefighter suffered a minor injury, but no deaths have been reported.
Hey,
CBS News national correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti is in Los Angeles, about an hour and a half west of Riverside.
All right, these closed captionings, I'm going to just try to fix it one more time. Let me reset. There we go. There we go.
Jonathan, what more do we know about these fireworks that apparently started this wildfire?
And Lindsay, good afternoon to you. We're specifically talking about the Haywarden fire in Riverside County. It burned 500 acres. Officials this morning confirming that fire was sparked by fireworks, saying that a group of people, those suspects, were captured in the act on video surveillance.
Oh my goodness.
And then seen fleeing the scene. They remain at large.
Wow. So this one, again, was in Riverside. It is contained, and it was caused by fireworks. And the suspects were seen doing it, but then they are still at large. Although I'm wondering, when was this? This was 6 days ago. I'm going to look and see if I can find if those people were found. Because again, like, if it's an accident, like, I'm guessing you shouldn't have fireworks anyways. I don't know the laws in California, but I would assume that having fireworks in a dry environment probably isn't a very good idea. But then to just take off instead of telling someone is so irresponsible.
Officials promising they will capture them and prosecute them to the highest extent in Riverside County. Like much of California, it is illegal to use fireworks. 6 homes were destroyed in that fire.
Oh, there we go.
$10 million in damage was caused. Meanwhile, overnight in New Mexico, we're learning that the FBI is now investigating serial arsonists, possibly connected to as many as 16 wildfires since May. According to court documents, the FBI is looking for a couple, a man and a woman, for possibly starting those fires, including the deadly salt fire in Ruidoso, New Mexico last month. The FBI has linked them using witness testimony, shoe prints, and tire marks 2 people were killed in that fire. Hundreds of homes were destroyed.
that
At this
is
point, it is
major
believed
news.
that couple remains at large.
Yeah, that Ruidoso fire changed the face of that gorgeous community. Not only was the wildfire a disaster, but the flash flooding after. It's just shocking news, Jonathan. We mentioned dozens of wildfires burning. Where is it the worst, and what are the conditions that are fueling the flames?
Yeah, Lindsay, to your point with Ruidoso, there was that deadly domino effect. You had the fire, and then with all the vegetation gone, when you had that flooding, that water had nowhere to go. Focusing on wildfires here in the West, Oregon is the worst hit. You have 18 major fires burning there. Several of them, hundreds of thousands of acres have been burned. Triple-digit heat is complicating the response there, along with the remote terrain that fire crews have to respond to. Here in California, you have about a dozen wildfires that are burning. Elsewhere, we're talking New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, and even Colorado have wildfires. So far this year, more than 3 million acres of land have been scorched by wildfires. If you put that in perspective, looking at the same time last year, only about 800,000 acres of land have been burned. We were actually in a conference yesterday, a training group with CAL FIRE here, who told us and warned of a volatile wildfire season ahead, specifically looking at this past winter when we had the atmospheric rivers dump trillions of gallons of water and snow that led to vegetation growing back. And now in the summer, with all of the heat, you have that vegetation drying out, presenting perfect fuel for wildfires. The worst of the season really hits starting in September and the fall, when the vegetation really dries out and when the wind picks up, Lindsay.
Yeah, a rainier winter and then a hotter than usual start to the summer. So what about air quality? Has that been impacted?
So I'm going to just pause there because the suspects in the Riverside fire caused by fireworks have not been apprehended. And this is from Fox 11. This was updated July 23rd, so about a week ago. Video shows possible arson suspects running from Hawarden Fire origin point. Oh, and there's the video.
The butcher, the feds are.
So we'll just get through this ad. Yeah, it's supposed to rain here.
Brush fires that destroyed or damaged more than a dozen homes in Riverside's Hawarden Hills.
Let's go out to Mario Ramirez for an update on the fire and the damage toll. Good morning.
Jen, Melvin, good morning. We're along at Canyon Hills Road, and we can tell you there's over $10 million worth of damage to homes here in the area. You can see part of the burn scar here behind me. There's now video circulating among residents. It was shared with us this morning, showing the moments a concerned homeowner confronts 3 young suspects running from the origin point of that fire. Look.
Guys.
So they're young kids. Well, I mean, relative to the homeowner. But here, this homeowner actually tries to engage with them.
It's all right. We've already called the police on you. Hey, do you have a fire extinguisher? Oh, dude, you're way past that. What the hell are you doing out there?
The group seen jumping into.
I mean, at least one of the kids had a sense to turn back and be like, "Do you have a fire extinguisher?" But like the guy said, like it's past that. Like, I mean, I get it. You're scared or whatever, but come on. Now you're even in more trouble.
Speeding out of the neighborhood. This was Sunday afternoon near Haywarden Drive, where the blaze reportedly started on the south end of Riverside, growing to over 5.
And they have a car. I'm surprised they haven't been able to locate them. But then again, I mean, that seems like an older model truck. But interesting.
500 acres, where it's held steady over the last 24 hours, now at 40% contained. Evacuation orders for around 1,500 nearby residents were lifted yesterday morning after fire officials say 6 homes were destroyed and 7 others were damaged by the Haywarden fire. Riverside's mayor says while fire crews continue to assess the damage this morning, authorities are searching for the suspects.
It's now been determined that the official cause was sparked by fireworks. Camera footage has shown suspects fleeing the area, and we also have a vehicle of interest that's being reviewed by investigators. We will prosecute those responsible for this incident.
Arson investigators have yet to release any sort of footage themselves. Meanwhile, the mayor says more than $1 million has been spent on resources used to battle the Hawarden fire. Riverside police and fire crews have been patrolling the area overnight, and that continues here this morning. We've seen it throughout the neighborhood, and I spoke to firefighters here that have been stationed here throughout the night, saying that they'll mostly be putting out hot spots, and conditions are expected to be hot once again. Temperatures in the upper 90s today. Live in Riverside, I'm Mario Ramirez. Back to you.
Crazy. So there, these suspects, they did, young kids, they could be. Okay, so that just kind of goes through the video.
Tonight.
All right, so we're going to get back to the current wildfires in California. The largest, which are the Boreal and the Park fires, is the largest of the two. Yeah, and thankfully the one, that those kids started, there was, they were able to contain it relatively quickly. But at the same time, there were homes destroyed because of their irresponsible actions, and then to not call for help sooner. They just left. It's insane how many arsonists are out there who do this kind of crap for, quote, fun and entertainment. It's hard to catch them, especially when they start them in remote areas way up dirt roads. And I don't know, the intentions of these young kids. I think they just wanted to do fireworks, and they ended up, starting a fire. And I'm thinking it was an accident. Maybe they did it maliciously. I don't know, because they haven't been caught. But I would think, depending on their age, they probably just wanted to have fun. And when it went sideways, they got scared, and instead of calling 911, they left.
California's largest fire so far this year, the Park Fire, exploding in size in just 4 days. The flame's meteoric march.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, is that this guy started this fire this past Wednesday. So 6 days ago, about 5 days ago. And it's just exploded.
Rapidly spreading to more than 300,000 acres, now sprawling over multiple counties. A towering, swirling fire-nado seen crossing this road. This home, among...
Whoa, let me rewind that. A fire-nado?
Spreading to more than 300,000 acres, now sprawling over multiple counties. A towering, swirling fire...
Oh my gosh, there it is right there. I didn't even notice that. Fire-nado
seen crossing this road. This home, among more than 130 structures so far destroyed, and at least 4,000 more are threatened. Authorities believe the blaze was sparked by 42-year-old Ronnie Dean Stout II, spotted pushing a burning car into a ravine, now arrested on suspicion of arson. Overnight, new evacuations in multiple communities.
The fire department was like, you guys have to get out now. It's coming up and it's coming fast.
Including the entire town of Paradise. Still reeling from the trauma left by the campfire.
And I can't imagine those who did survive the Paradise fire, what trauma they must be feeling now. Or, they went through it once and now their livelihood is being threatened again. It's just because of this idiot.
The deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California history, killing 85 people, decimating the area.
Definitely is a lot of PTSD in this county.
And you can see the destruction in its wake. Homes in this area gutted. And at its fastest, officials say it was moving at about 5,000 acres per hour. Right now,
Wow, 5,000 acres per hour. And so here, and I don't know what these closed captioning is because it's not this video. They're talking about China and Japan. But here, the number of wildfires is just, I had no idea there was this many wildfires going on in the United States right now.
the West is besieged by fire, with more than 110 active fires covering nearly 3,000 square miles. In Idaho, harrowing video shows residents escaping through a tunnel of flames. In eastern...
Oh my gosh, in Idaho? I'm going to look that up. Wildfire, Idaho. Okay, so Gwen Fire stands at over 20,000 acres, burns through several houses. And so 49 minutes ago, it appears that... All right, let me just share this because, like I said, I had no idea. So Gwen Fire stands at over 20,000 acres, burns through several houses. Oh my gosh. So Julietta, Idaho, sorry, not Ohio. The Gwen Fire that has caused level 3 go now evacuations for the city of Julietta has grown to 20,000 acres with additional acreage expected to be burned according to the Idaho Department of Lands. The DOL says that the wildfire grew overnight. Oh, there we go. That's much better. An additional acreage estimate is expected due to the lack of containment Saturday morning. Homes and buildings in the Whitney-Haas area have burned down as approximately 300 people have evacuated. A shelter has been set up at the Methodist Church in Lapwai, and collections for victims were coordinated throughout Saturday. So evacuation, that was Saturday. So then why did it say this was updated 49 minutes ago? Well, 5 hours ago. And nothing about containment or anything. Hey, Remy. That's the one on screen. It jumped the mountains. So the Gwen Fire? Let me see if I can find. So that was like their NBC affiliate, but there's not a whole lot of... Oh, here's 3 hours ago. So this is from KREM. Evacuations downgraded for town of Julietta due to 28,000 acre Gwen Fire. There are still level 1, 2, and 3 evacuations in the immediate area of the fire. It's grown to over 35,000 acres. Level 3, go now. Evacuations remain in place for several areas for the Gwen Fire south of Julietta and about 30 miles outside of Lewiston near State Highway 3 in Latah County. In an update Monday morning, Idaho Department of Land said the fire had burned over 28,000 acres and is 0% contained. That's not good. Wow. Evacuations, the latest evacuations can be found below. So here's the fire. Okay, so this is ready. Be ready. And then set. They're like set. And this area you need to go. Like go right now. So this, it looks like Texas fire is 90% contained. This one again is 0% contained. Oh, there we go. Texas fire. June 15th. contained 90. Acres, about 1,350 acres. 5 residences destroyed. 7 other structures destroyed. 5 injuries. But then see, they don't have, oh, here it is. That's why. Let me click on this. Oh, maybe they won't let me click on it. Oh, there it is. Whoops. All right. Let me stop. Why is it not letting me click on it? Okay, well, I thought it was going to let me click on it, and it's not letting me do that. So it says location south of Julietta, Idaho, 30 miles outside Lewiston near State Highway 3. So they did say that. Almost 29,000 acres as of Monday. 300 residents have been evacuated. Multiple fires have broken out northeast of Lewiston following lightning strikes from a storm on Wednesday, July 24th. According to the Idaho Department of Lands, numerous fires in the area will likely combine to make a complex fire. Multiple structures have been lost, but it's not believed any homes or buildings in Julietta have been damaged by the flames. And again, 0% contained. It's wild. The lake fire is now 90% contained after burning 40,000 acres. That's true, Juju, especially in the mountains. Yeah, you know, there's not a lot of ways in and out. I mean, look at, you know, the Maui fires. I mean, there was, you know, it was just a traffic jam and there, oh boy, what is going on with StreamYard? Can y'all still hear me? Because I just got an error on StreamYard saying that it's acting up. Yes, you can. Okay. If it starts acting up, let me know. I might have to refresh, but it's being not cooperative. Mm. Mm. It's terrible. Okay. Yeah, it said something about my screen share wasn't responding or something. All right. So again, I'm kind of going, I don't have these really in order, but this is going to the Burrell fire, which is separate from the Park fire. Can't hear sound from video now. Okay, so let me try this. All right, so I'm going to try this, and if not, I'm going to have to refresh. All right, let me rewind. All right, could you hear it when I just took it away and put it back? All right, actually, I'm going to stop sharing. Let me try this again. All right, so we're going to try it once more, and then if it still doesn't work, I'm going to have to refresh.
This afternoon, the Burrell fire spread to both sides of Caliente Bodfish Road, closing that road and burning trees and homes in the area.
Nothing. All right. Oh, you can hear it now. Okay, because I know there's a delay. So, okay, perfect. All right, let me just restart it then.
This afternoon, the Burrell fire spread to both sides of Caliente Bodfish Road, closing that road and burning trees and homes in the area. One longtime resident telling 17 News the fire engulfed his home in a matter of seconds. 17's Jenny Hub.
Okay, so I believe this is the older man I was talking about earlier who said he had seconds. So he grabbed 3 of his cats. Sadly, he wasn't able to get the 4th. And he left without his medicine. And so he has his 3 cats and the clothes on his back. And, you know, I think where does he go from here?
With more on the devastation from the front lines of the firefight.
Giant flames. It was huge, big orange flames all around me. I mean, it was like quick. Where did they all come from? I mean, it came by fast, real fast. There was no time.
And I wonder too, I mean, obviously a lot of people probably have cell phones or, you know, internet capabilities, but for some of the people in the mountains that may not have technology, I mean, obviously they would see the fire coming, but it's moving so fast, they may not have any warning at all to evacuate.
Time to do anything. I couldn't get anything out of those.
65-year-old Daniel Gonzalez has lived in the same house on Caliente Bodfish Road for nearly 40 years, a house that went up in flames Friday afternoon.
I got my cats barely out of the house, 3 of them. My other cat got away and went outside, but I know he died because the fire was completely around engulfed. I lost everything. One more second. By the way, one more second, I would have been dead.
Gonzalez said he's seen fires year after year where he lives, but this Burrell fire is the first that's really affected him. His 3 cats in this cage and everything else you see in his truck is all Gonzalez said he had left. He said he couldn't even get his medication, which he needs.
My whole life, everything's gone. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's just sinking in right now. It hasn't even sunk in yet.
Crew on the ground told 17 News embers caused the fire to jump across the road and rapidly start spot fires. While Public Information Officer Andrew Freeborn said Friday, containment efforts focused on preventing the fire from crossing the 178 highway and from reaching neighborhoods like Breckenridge Meadows, Paiute Meadows, and Havilah. Most of those areas and hundreds of residents have been under evacuation orders, and some directly impacted by the blaze. Freeborn also explaining the fire started on the downhill side of the 178, then spread quickly upwards due to the terrain and wind, which has been up to 35 miles an hour.
And the Burrell fire, just to kind of talk about this a little bit. This is from, actually, I don't want to use USA Today because I know they don't get their facts right. Let me see if there's another. Here we go. 21 minutes ago. So this is from CNN. A historic mining community is decimated as the Park Fire and other massive wildfires rage in the western United States. Oh my God, like, look at that. Holy cow. Wildfires are raging out of control in the western United States and Canada, destroying homes, forcing evacuations, and injuring residents. One inferno has reportedly destroyed the historic mining community of Havilah. Another has scorched more than 360,000 acres of California, an area larger than the city of Phoenix. Here's the latest. Burrell fire ravages historic mining community. The fire in Kern County, California, swept through the community of Havila and Puite Meadows Ranches, CAL FIRE said. Havila was discovered in 1864 and served as an active mining center for more than 20 years, according to California State Parks. The Burrell Fire had burned more than 50,000 acres and was 0% contained as of Sunday night. Hope for stopping wildfire spread. The weather forecast for the Northwest calls for lighter winds than the area has seen in recent days, giving firefighters some optimism about slowing the progress of the Park Fire and more than 100 other large wildfires burning across the region. Temperatures across much of the West will be at or below average to start this week, with forecast highs through Tuesday ranging between the 60s and 70s along the Pacific coast and the 70s and 80s in the inland Pacific Northwest. Park Fire is the largest active wildfire in the U.S. We did talk about that earlier. We also talked about the suspect, Mr. Stout, a 42-year-old who is suspected of pushing a burning car 60 feet into a gully, causing flames to spread. There is progress fighting Durkee Fire in Oregon. The Durkee Fire is the largest wildfire burning in Oregon at more than 288,000 acres. It has injured 3 people and destroyed 4 homes. The fire was 49% contained as of Monday morning, according to InsaWeb, and the containment could improve as winds calm and humidity levels moderate. And again, we saw a little bit about the Jasper, Alberta, Canada wildfire. Through weekend rain, Though weekend rain helped firefighters combat the Jasper wildfire complex, the park's largest wildfire in more than a century, and extinguished 60 fires across the province, warmer weather in the days ahead might present further challenges. Temperatures in the area have dropped, and there is a chance of showers Monday, with highs expected in the upper 60s to mid-70s and rising through the week. Wildfire danger for the southern areas of the province remain very high to extreme. This area did not see the moisture as the other areas of the province did. Air tanker pilot who died fighting fire in Oregon identified. James Bailey Maxwell, an experienced pilot who logged about 24,000 hours of flight time in his 54 years of flying, died after his single-engine air tanker crashed while working near the Falls Fire in Oregon Thursday. He is survived by and will be missed by family members in Idaho, Oregon, and Washington. The Falls Fire began on July 10th and has since burned more than 142,000 acres and is 57% contained as of Sunday. Oh my gosh. This image is just, the only thing that remains is the washer and dryer and some type of metal thing here. But all you see is just the remnants, the shell. And this actually looks like some type of table or something here on the left. A few cinder blocks. A charred washer and dryer mark where a home once stood before the Park Fire destroyed it in Butte County, California. No, CNN, I do not want the news summarized. Thank you, though. I appreciate that. Everybody lost everything. The Burrell Fire has destroyed the historic mining community of Havila, with only a few buildings left standing, the LA Times reported. We lost everything. It's all gone. Resident Sean Rains told the Times on Sunday. This whole town burned down. Multiple people, friends that I know, everybody lost everything. The number of homes and businesses destroyed in Havila, population 250, is still being assessed. But evacuation orders have been in effect, according to Jim Snow, one of the incident commanders. Fueled in part by red flag conditions such as warm temperatures, very low humidities, and strong winds, the Burrell Fire has exploded in growth. It scorched 30,000 acres in a 24-hour period. Despite 1,200 personnel assigned to the inferno, the blaze was 0% contained as of Sunday. Some of those edges of the fire with rapid growth were having to chase down rather than stand in front of it. We have had some light injuries on the incident, a lot of heat-related injuries. So, firefighters making progress in California. We talked about that a little bit. I mean, God bless these men. Most people run away from fire. All right. Residents describe driving through flames of, quote, angry fire. The massive park fire, which authorities believe was caused by arson, has forced thousands of residents to flee their homes. The inferno was sparked Wednesday near Chico, California, and swallowed thousands of acres per hour, burned dozens of structures, and left graveyards of burned trees and cars. Holy crap, look at that. Retired Chico firefighter John Moretti said he lost his house in the park fire despite preparing as best he knew how. I bought a bulldozer. We cleared things out. We made sure that we had a Class A roof and non-flammable walls. We did a lot. We had sprinklers. We had hoses. I mean, I'm a firefighter. I set this up for maximum opportunity for the house to make it, and it did not. There's just no way that anybody could have survived with this house. Despite the destruction of his property, Moretti said he felt fortunate the household, including 2 dogs and a cat, had escaped unharmed, something he credited in part to breaking his ankle last Monday. I felt very capable staying, and I have hoses, I have all sorts of equipment, but with a broken ankle, there's just no choice. I had to leave. And fortunately, because I had the broken ankle, I probably saved my life because I probably would have stayed and tried to fight it, which would have been the wrong decision. Moretti said the speed at which the fire had spread wasn't what he was used to. This was just a lot faster fire than I'd ever seen. This is just an angry fire and completely different than anything I've ever seen before. A Tehama County resident told CNN about fleeing the park fire on the only exit road out of their neighborhood, which the blaze had already jumped. So there I think it was Juju or Remy had said about only having one way in or one way out. And here, this resident said there was only one way out and the blaze had already jumped it. When we saw the fire coming over the ridge, which it did, it was coming at us. We thought that was bad. And then we put everything in the car and took off. We get on the highway and it is burning on both sides for 10 miles. It was like driving through an inferno. The park fire is burning in Butte County, where California's deadliest wildfire, the Camp Fire, killed more than 85 people and destroyed thousands of homes in 2018. Bruce Hay and his brother-in-law, Christopher Apel, told KOVR that the blaze had forced them to evacuate their adjoining properties in the Cohasset area. We had a lot of people who were staying there from the campfire, and everything is burning. Hay said he drove through the blaze to safety, but burned his arm in the process. Okay, so that was the man that we had met earlier in the video we watched about the Tiny Pine Foundation. I tried to outrun it, he said. I wouldn't have gotten burned if I hadn't rolled down the window to look in the rearview mirror. I was right in the middle of it, and I was trying to put it in reverse. And Jasper, Alberta, Canada, around 17,000 evacuated. We talked about that fire a little bit. Just, the title of my live was, California on fire, but it appears that it's the entire West, Western coast is burning. Okay, thank you, Juju. Hey, Coddle, how are you? I know, Remy. These people, it's so sad.
Dead and dry grass crop from recent wet seasons is also a concern.
It's the thickest grass crop that they've seen in 30 years.
More than a dozen agencies are now hands-on, like the Bureau of Land Management, U.S. Forest Service, and Kern County Fire.
Hotshot crews, engine companies, dozers, all of the aircraft that you typically will see on a fire. Moving forward on the Burrell incident, you will see resources that are assigned not only during the day, but at night as well.
Jenny Huh, 17 News.
And, oh good, it did pause. I was curious about what caused the Burrell fire. And the Burrell fire was started last Wednesday, July 24th, the same day that the Park fire was intentionally, allegedly set by that idiot. But the Burrell fire started when a driver on Highway 178 left the roadway near the Kern River Canyon. When Kern County firefighters arrived at the scene, the driver was deceased and the fire had reached both sides of the highway. That's really sad. So it appears it was caused by a car accident. Oh, and actually, here we go. I just saw a video. So this is from KGET. We're going to just take a look at this quick. Once this advertisement is over. Sinner, yes. I just got your message. Oh, sorry about that.
Fire is about 80 square miles. It is very large. It's one of the largest wildfires in Kern County history. And it all started from just one spark. So 17's Kaylee Soren joins us now to talk more about how we even got here. Kaylee?
Yes, Alex, the Burrell fire began Wednesday after a crash on Highway 178 that killed a 46-year-old driver. This scene, the Burrell fire, all started Wednesday afternoon around 1 o'clock. Kern County Fire says a car careened over the side of the canyon, killing the driver and catching fire. The fire on Highway 178 near Burrell Road began to rapidly spread, and Highway 178.
Oh my gosh, that is so...
was closed. By Wednesday night, the Burrell fire had scorched more than 1,600 acres. Thursday around noon, the first evacuation warning was issued. A few hours later, that warning was upgraded to an order. By Thursday night, more than 3,100 acres of brush had burned, but that number exploded before Friday morning, with the fire doubling in size to more than 7,000 acres. But the blaze nearly doubled in size again with the help of windy weather, burning about 13,000 acres by Friday evening. Then Friday night, the fire exploded once more, burning close to 32,000 acres. Then Saturday evening, the Burrell fire burned almost 38,000 acres with no containment. Evacuation orders were issued for nearly the entire town of Bodfish and areas near Thompson Canyon, Bodfish Canyon, Walker Basin, Shadow Mountain, and Rankin Ranch. And on Sunday, the blaze surpassed 50,000 acres.
So just... I like how they put it day by day, because you can see how it just, seemingly exploded. It just grew exponentially each day. And, it was an accident. Purely an accident, the Burrell fire.
Leaving nothing but destruction in its wake. And as of news time, the fire has burned more than 50,100 acres, and it continues to spread unchecked. Highway 178 remains closed through the Kern River Canyon this morning with no word on when it will reopen. I'm Kaylee Soren for 17 News. Our coverage of the...
Wow. And that's just, it's so sad. So you have, the Park fire that was intentionally set, and you have the Burrell fire that is also spreading rapidly. That was purely an accident. And rest in peace to that driver who just went off the road.
Tonight with a desperate race to contain a massive wildfire raging in Northern California, exploding to more than 500 square miles. That's larger than the city of Los Angeles, scorching 5,000 acres per hour. The fast-moving wildfire doubling in size over the last 24 hours, consuming more than 130 homes and threatening thousands more. More than 2,000 firefighters battling to control the flames, thousands of people forced to evacuate their homes. The Park Fire prompting California's governor to declare a state of emergency in 2 counties. The flames also threatening the town of Paradise, now under an evacuation warning. You might remember that neighborhood was destroyed 6 years ago during the deadly Camp Fire, one of the worst in state history. ABC's Jacqueline Lee leading us off tonight from the fire zone.
Tonight, this massive blaze burning out of control in Northern California. The Park Fire exploding to more than 500 square miles, an area bigger than Los Angeles.
There was just a perfect wave of everything coming together to make aggressive fire behavior. From the slope, the terrain, topography.
Thousands of firefighters are working around the clock. What authorities say.
And so it makes you wonder, I'm guessing this guy, the guy that intentionally started the fire, isn't that smart. But, you know, that firefighter saying all of the factors came together to create this, quote, perfect storm. Did the guy know that that specific area would cause the most destruction? Did he research this type of thing to find out what would be the best location? Yeah, I feel, you know, the fact that there were families and people at the park, he probably just did it because he lived close to there. I don't know. But even so, he knew what he was doing, in my opinion.
Started as a suspected arson, is now 0% contained, scorching 5,000 acres an hour. Fueled by bone-dry conditions, gusty winds, and the hottest summer on record. More than 130 homes torched and thousands more threatened. This fire has consumed everything in its path, including what's left of this house. The fireplace, the only thing left standing, and in the kitchen, it's still smoldering. Jen Robbins and her daughter had to leave their
Oh, this is the story. So this doesn't show anything, you know, like the Washington Post, which is still, you know, bothering me. But I really hope that this woman's animals are okay, because just like that older man that said he had literally seconds to get out. Same thing with these women.
Farm and animals behind. These pictures show just how close the flames came as they escaped through a tunnel of fire. The heat melting tires.
So this is dragging down the highway as you guys are trying to race out.
Yeah. I don't know how I was able to drive here, but I was shaking so hard and just crying. When I arrived here, I just got out of the vehicle and collapsed and was throwing up. We already have PTSD from the campfire.
6 years ago, Robbins lost everything, her home and pets, in the campfire in nearby Paradise. This new park fire is already more than twice as big and is threatening Paradise all over again. Robbins doesn't know if anything will be left of the life she had just rebuilt.
Not knowing if the home we built is existing, not knowing if my livelihood of these farm animals, if they're even alive, you know, I mean, there's a lot of guilt.
And to lose everything in 2018, to rebuild and then have to evacuate again in a seeming tunnel of fire, not knowing what remains at your home. I mean, this woman is a pillar of strength, in my opinion.
There's a lot of pain.
Tonight, so many here are waiting for word, fearing they'll have to start all over again. As you can see, there's still a lot of spot fires, the smoke incredibly thick, turning the sky orange with concerns about air quality. And this comes as firefighters are racing to get the park fire under control ahead of the next heat wave. Whit.
All right, Jacqueline Lee, thank you. Let's get right to meteorologist Jeff Smith from our New York station, WABC. And Jeff, the smoke from those wildfires also causing poor air quality in several states.
And the sheer number of wildfires burning is absolutely staggering. We have 100 in the U.S., 900 in Canada. That's why we have so much smoke in both countries, basically, causing hazy skies out there. The most concentrated smoke, though, right near that explosive park fire. You could wake up to an orange, reddish, kind of Mars-like appearance to the sky in places like Redding and Chico, California. That spreads into northern Nevada during the day tomorrow, even into Salt Lake City and Idaho Falls. Some poor air quality by later on tomorrow afternoon. Mother Nature not going to be helping our cause either. Approaching 100 degrees in Chico by Wednesday, and that heat wave spreading into the heartland could be rivaling records in Colorado Springs and Amarillo by Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Whit.
Jeff Smith, it's great to have you. We appreciate it.
Near the front lines till 17.
Pause for a moment, please. Okay, so I'm just gonna, from here, we're gonna just skip quickly to an article from the New York Times. Give me 1 second. Just looking, I have so many videos that I wanted to make sure that I got to the newer ones. So this says, displaced by the park fire, some wonder if they'll have a home to return to. Many who fled the fire in California have been anxiously waiting to hear whether their houses are still standing. Others are grappling with news of homes and barns leveled by flames. And this was updated about 2 hours ago. Paul Mazzino was working an afternoon shift at a Trader Joe's grocery store in Chico, California last week when he heard a chorus of phones pinging simultaneously with alerts about a nearby wildfire. "Oh God, not again," Mr. Mazzino, who had evacuated from a fire before, recalled thinking at the time. Later that day, he learned that his home in Humboldt Highlands was under an evacuation order. So he packed his favorite guitars and enough clothes to last him roughly a week and hit the road. After driving just a mile, he looked over the ridge and saw a fiery red landscape. "It looked like a volcano," he said, "like something out of Hellraiser." Mr. Mazzino, 63, is just one of over 8,000 residents in Northern California under evacuation orders across Butte and Tehama counties, prompted by the rapidly spreading park fire. The blaze has burned just over 370,000 acres since it was ignited on Wednesday. It is now the 6th largest wildfire in state history. Wow. Okay, so this is the burnt. So this map gives a little bit better perspective for me anyways. So the light brown is the burned area. The red is the burning area. And again, 12% contained. And here is Paradise, which that actually gives a little bit of a better perspective too. Paradise is here in relation to where the fire is. Billows of orange, gray smoke and blustery flames have turned tree-lined roads and wooden homes into barren patches of dirt coated with ash. At least 109 structures have been destroyed and about 4,200 were threatened. And the fire, which was about 12% contained early Monday, could possibly burn for several weeks. Now, many evacuees in the area are in limbo. Some had hurriedly fled with few possessions. Many were roughing it out in temporary shelters or staying with family and friends. There is no clear timeline of when they will be allowed to go back home. And once they do, evacuees wonder, what will their neighborhoods look like? For some, the answer to that question has already become painfully clear. Claire Afflerbach, 26, had promptly evacuated to her mother-in-law's home in Durham, California. She remembers frantically putting her family in the car, as well as her 5 dogs, a cat, a pigeon, and a turtle. After getting all of our zoo together, we didn't have much time. Mrs. Afflerbach, who works for a company that provides fire safety equipment and services, and her family have lived on their 20-acre property in Cohasset since the 1940s. Much of the property was destroyed, including her home and 5 barns built by her grandfather. Oh, look at all those babies. So this says Sherry Elpers is one of a handful of evacuees temporarily living out of their RVs and cars in neighborhood church's parking lot. Oh my gosh, she has lots of puppies. Poor things. Nala Espinosa's home near Cohasset was also among the structures that were consumed by the wildfire. Miss Espinosa, a 22-year-old student at Butte College, said all that remained of her home were the few belongings she could bring with her in 2 garbage bags. She escaped on Wednesday with her 5 cats, 4 dogs, and 4 other housemates who had been alarmed by the white clouds of smoke hovering above their home. Living in Cohasset, you don't hear sirens a lot, Miss Espinosa said, referring to one she heard when she evacuated. I can still hear the sirens. I try not to hear it when I go to sleep. On Saturday, Miss Espinosa was sitting on a picnic table in a gravel and dirt lot in Chico, where Tom Tom's Island-style food truck was parked. The lot, which owners of the food truck rent, became a gathering spot for Cohasset residents who had evacuated. Children enjoyed blue slushies while adults tried to find some solace in friendly conversations, but underlying their attempts for some sense of calm was a feeling of dread and uncertainty, as many tried to come to terms with their homes having collapsed in charred piles or anxiously awaited news about how their homes would fare in the coming days. Many in the lot appeared tired, some still wearing the clothes in which they evacuated. But there was a sense of community among the evacuees, and the overall mood felt more akin to a family reunion. All those people. When the news of the evacuation orders broke, Tom Chamberlain, who owns the Tom Tom's food truck, waited to offer food in the lot to those who were displaced. Since then, another food truck, local organizations, and other residents have joined, bringing donations of food, water, money, and clothes. On Saturday, about a dozen bags of clothes were up for grabs, and there was a table with items like chips, granola bars, baby wipes, and toothbrushes. Jamie Chamberlain, Mr. Chamberlain's wife, said the food truck fed about 180 people on Saturday. They've all been crying and hugging each other. Still, several were uneasy about the fate of their homes. Next to Miss Espinosa on the picnic table was Anthony Flamini, 37, who was unsure whether his home on Mud Creek Road in Cohasset would survive. Every year we do what we can to protect our community, but sometimes efforts aren't enough. As soon as a nearby town received an evacuation warning, he added, I think everybody said, we are in trouble. At Neighborhood Church in Chico, which was serving as an evacuation center, about a dozen people who fled, mostly from Magalia and Paradise. Magalia got hit really bad by the campfire as well, right? I feel like that town sounds familiar. So a dozen people who fled mostly from Magalia and Paradise could be seen seeking refuge under the shade of trees. Sherry Elper, 74, of Forest Ranch, was one of a handful of evacuees temporarily living out of RVs and cars in the church's parking lot. She said she opted to remain in her vehicle so she could stay with her 12 dogs. That's a lot of dogs. We got a warning to evacuate and went with the warning. I didn't want to take a chance, Miss Elper said. In 15-20 minutes, we were out of there. We didn't grab hardly anything. Little baby. The park fire has been burning for several days, but experts have warned that it could continue to spread for much longer. Daniel Swain, a climate scientist at the University of California, Los Angeles, said that another heat wave was forecast in the area this week, which could make it more difficult for firefighters to contain the blaze. He said it could burn for weeks or months. With uncertainties looming around the fire, those who have lost their homes are grappling with their own futures. When Mrs. Afflerbach, who lost her home in Cohasset, started packing to flee, she thought she and her family would be gone for only one night. But now we don't have many answers on when we're able to get back up there. We're just trying to raise enough money for a trailer or something to stay in. So sad. Oops. All right, so I just have a couple more videos and then we'll do some closing thoughts.
Teams have actually lowered the number of structures damaged or destroyed in the Park Fire tonight. Crews are confirming 20 structures have been impacted. That's down from the initial 134 structures last week. They say these numbers will fluctuate over the next couple of days. Now, from Chico, we head north to Tehama County, outside of Mineral off Highway 36. That's where we find your reporter, Kayla Mueller, with more.
I'm in Tehama County off Plum Creek Road. We met some evacuees off Highway 36 who say they narrowly escaped flames last night.
We're just hanging out here waiting for the okay to go home.
Highway 36 as the Park Fire ripped through their neighborhood.
When we saw the fire coming over the ridge, which it did at us, we thought that was bad. And then we put everything in the car and took off.
Fire both sides of the road, you know, it was rough.
The only way out was the 2-lane highway, which the flames had already jumped.
And we get out the highway and it is burning.
And that's got to be, you know, that reminds me of Paradise or even the Maui wildfire where there was fire on both sides. Like I would be freaking out.
On both sides for 10 miles. It was driving through an inferno.
As you can see, the flames have already come and gone through here. Now, this did all happen very quickly. We are driving along Plum Creek Road, trying to get further in to get to the flames, but this is as far as we could go.
Hopefully we can head home.
So, I'm sorry, ma'am. You were trying to get closer to the fire? I mean, I get it, wanting to get a good story, but you have to be safe, too.
As we went to assess the damage to their home, we were stopped by this fallen tree.
I did not think it was going to make it this far up. I thought sure that they would get a hold of it. Where do we go?
They say they tried to find somewhere to stay, but all the hotels and motels in the area are full.
We're going to eat dinner and probably sleep in the bed of the truck.
As they continue to wait, we've been driving around and have seen many homes and structures burn to the ground. Behind me here, I can't really even tell what it used to be because everything is so damaged. It looks like it might have been some sort of construction staging site.
In a closer view.
Oh, that ended very abruptly. Okay.
Of homes and cars that have been destroyed by the Park Fire. Photojournalist Dave Grasshoff is at the Humboldt Woodwind gated community. Talked to a homeowner who stayed behind during the fire.
What?
Right now at this hour, hearing a lot.
So this homeowner stayed behind and survived? Holy moly.
A lot of aerial surveillance planes flying above, a lot of devastation, thousands and thousands of acres, along with personal property, cars and homes. This is what it looked like driving up Highway 32 this morning. In just a matter of seconds, that tree up in flames. In the Humboldt Woodland gated community, resident Jerry Hamingo described what he saw yesterday as the fire raced up the canyon behind his house.
One black inferno. It was just smoke everywhere, and they were just laying up through the canyon. It was moving fast.
His neighborhood is littered in pink due to yesterday's aerial attack. It saved many of the homes in his neighborhood.
Their timing was very good on that. The fire had pretty much gone through, but we had the homes burning here, and there's still a lot of fire coming back up the hill below us. And that's when they sprayed the homes, and it stopped a lot of spot fires and a lot of roof fires and that.
Right now, winds are calm. Hopefully it stays that way so firefighters can start to get a handle on this out of control wildfire. Back to you in the studio.
Okay,
all right, so last one. This I have not watched. Oh wait, we have one more we have a feel good article at the end. I forgot about that. There's an article I'll read before we close. But this last video, this resident watches her home destroyed by fire on her security cameras.
Fire has not released any numbers on how many homes have been damaged or destroyed, but our own crews have seen several burn to the ground. And that includes your reporter, Kayla Moeller, who talked with a woman who watched her home burn in real time. Kayla.
I would not be watching.
Yeah, hi there. I'm standing off of Cohasset Road right now, but this fire is really hot and really intense. We were up there right next to the flames earlier. We had to come down the hill just a little bit to get service. But what I want to point out is that plume of smoke. In fact, the plume of smoke on the left and the one coming to meet it on the right, they were completely separate smoke plumes. But just even since I talked to you guys about an hour ago, it's grown significantly. It's growing by the minute. I can see it kind of moving in slow motion. But again, they used to be two separate plumes of smoke, but now they are coming together. And we spoke with a former CBS News anchor who watched her house burn through security camera footage in real time. She described it like a train wreck where you don't want to look, yet you just can't look away. Oh my gosh.
Oh my word. Just the frame. So the frame of her home, most of the frame is remaining.
This is the moment Julia Yarbo saw what's left of her home.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason. Our house gone, their house okay, house next to it, you can see it's gone.
Flames ripped through her neighborhood off Cohasset Road overnight, and she watched her house burn down live through her home security camera.
It really is almost a numbness, right? It's surreal. Probably won't hit me till later. I'm pretty sure.
30 years in the military, and I've been overseas, and I've seen some devastation. And I thought this was a war zone.
This man lives just a few houses down from Julia, but his home made it.
Doesn't impact me. Thinking about, people. I'm so happy my neighbor's house survived and that everybody's okay.
After leaving their neighborhood, we went further in. This is what we saw at the end of Cohasset Loop Road.
Like these reporters, I mean, I get it. You want to get a good story. You want to get up close. But who's to say that fire doesn't change direction and come right at you and end up trapping you?
CAL FIRE and other agencies are using every resource available to get this fire under control. Flames were creeping up in someone's backyard when we had to leave the area. Wind playing a role.
It was incredibly windy last night. It's been hot. It's dry vegetation.
The sky filled with smoke, the atmosphere turning a purple hue as the red-orange smoke covers the blue sky. We've seen planes, engines, and choppers fighting relentlessly to put out flames and continue to provide structure protection.
It puts a finality to it of just going, wow, this chapter over.
I've covered a few fires at this point, and
like they wear these, I mean, I'm guessing they're fire resistant, fire retardant suits, jackets, and pants, but that's not going to save you.
This one is definitely the most intense that I've seen. I went to bed last night and it was at around 6,000 acres burned. And then I woke up to an early morning call from the station telling me that I had to hurry up, get ready, and head over here because it exploded to 45,000 acres overnight. And the last update is we're at more than 70,000 acres burned. So we will continue to keep you updated on these conditions.
Yeah, and I'm glad you also focused on the sky because so much can be told in that.
And again, this was several days ago because we know now that the park fire is over 360,000 acres.
Story, the way the clouds and the smoke merges together. Kayla, thanks. Stay safe out there. Appreciate your.
Stay safe. I agree, sir. Okay. So the last article I have is about puppies and their mom. So this is, again, in regards to the park fire. Rottweiler pups, their mother rescued from the park fire. Ooh, made it too big. I got to get rid of this. An adult Rottweiler and her pups were rescued in the first hours of the park fire as hundreds of people were fleeing their homes to escape the blaze. A post on Facebook from the Butte County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team said a person's truck became disabled as they left the Cohasset area, about 120 miles north of Sacramento. The person had to leave the truck behind along with 2 Rottweiler adults and their puppies. Officials were given the location of the truck, but no one could immediately head to it because of the fire conditions. The sheriff's office said that on Saturday, a member of the search and rescue team flew to the area and found a safe landing zone about a mile and a half from the vehicle. After walking to the truck, the team member found the puppies and their mother alive and determined that the father had not survived. The surviving dogs were given water and snacks and taken to the helicopter, where they were taken to the Chico airport and later to an animal rescue group. Since igniting on Wednesday afternoon, the park fire has rapidly grown to become one of the largest in the state's history, with thousands of people under evacuation orders and hundreds of fire and emergency personnel working to contain the blaze. So even though Dad did not survive, Mom and babies were all rescued and brought to a local rescue, which is very good news about those babies and their mom. So that is what I have for you. Like I said, there's so many videos and so much information, and it was, I didn't get to some of the videos I had, but it's, I hope that they're able to make some progress before the weather gets hotter and less humid. And if I could, I would send rain. I would. I believe we're supposed to get rain here on Thursday. It did rain for a little bit this morning, which was weird because it wasn't supposed to rain at all. But I mean, even if I could send California the humidity, I would get rid of the humidity in a hot minute because it's really humid up here. So thanks everybody for being here. I do appreciate it, especially because of the subject matter. It's not easy to watch or to hear about. And I think it's important that we think of those people who are being affected by these wildfires. And actually, it is past 6 o'clock or 3. I am going to look up quickly if there's anything about the dude who did it. I'm guessing he's probably still in court. It's only 6:24. Yeah, I don't see anything yet. So I will keep checking, and I will share to my community page any updates related to the suspect in this case for the park fire, Mr. Ronnie Dean Stout II, who is a career criminal, and he is a bad person. So thanks everybody again for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. I don't have a live scheduled for tomorrow yet, but again, I did see there was a knife attack and 2 children did not make it. Several others injured, many critical. I don't know if I'm going to cover that. I have to look more into it. But I do have those other news stories that we didn't get to yesterday that I hope I can get to. So I may just do a kind of random news story day tomorrow. And then we have Wordsy Wednesday. So I hope you all have a great rest of your night. And until next time, I will see you all on the flip side.
Let it take me to that place now. I won't ever let my thoughts get away now. I got better things to do, picking fate now. I just wanna be the best, call me great now. I don't know if I'm okay or insane now. I remember better days on the playground, hoping I can find my way. Even when I'm feeling down, I fight. Even when I don't know what is right, I'ma pick a side and I'ma take pride. I will decide my fate and I will never let them tell me who I am. If you try to shake me, I'll be damned. Planet on the ground is where I stand. Never give up, that was always the plan. It's so cold outside, I'm alone, I'm alright. It's so cold outside, I'm alone.